welcome back to Pwn TV, ladies and gentlemen, and unfortunately I wanted to record a video where I was playing a game against an opponent, but I guess all of my opponents are too scared to play me right now. So I don't have an opponent, and I'm getting impatient, and I really want to playtest more of my Starterku deck for Dragon Ball Super here on the Octagon game client. So what I thought I would do instead, since I can't seem to find an opponent to test this deck, I just will show you guys the changes that I've made to my Starterku deck. This is a Starterku deck that I've been playing the last couple days. It's probably what I'm playing this. It's definitely what I'm playing this weekend. And this is version 5 of it. I did actually just record a game with version 3, and so you might ask, well, where's version 4? Well, version 4 was essentially the exact same deck as version 5. The only difference is version 5 doesn't have full power energy, and version 4 does. And that's really the only difference between those two decks. So they're both really good, but they're also both very different. And for game 1 in particular, one would have a very different matchup against one-drop players that ran one-drop battle cards because it had the full power in it, and the other one would have a completely different matchup as a result of not having the full power energy in the top 50. So this is that version that gets away with not having any full power energies. I was very triggered when I played earlier and I had 6 blue open, but I top decked the full power energy. And I was like, well, this is a green card. Like, I drew that off my life while I was trying to defend myself, and I couldn't do anything with it. So that basically was ultimately what cost me that victory. So I decided that if I'm going to lose a game over running full power energy in the deck as a negate source, I'm just not going to run the negate. I'm just not going to run that choice. I'll side deck it or something, but I won't main deck it, and I'll have to be very careful how I charge. And so since I cut that out, I actually did some more cutting to the deck, trimming out a few green cards that were helping me cast the full power energy. Now we're actually down to 2 copies of Infernal Villainy Cell. That's our 1 combo 10k pump to draw 1. But we were running 4, now we're only running the 2, and I'm excited with just the 2. Now to go along with those 2 Infernal Cells, I have 2 Unbreakable Gokus. This is just a red equivalent that does the same thing, 10,000 combo power, draw a card. That's basically all that does. So you can see that we actually went down from 6 sources of 10k draw 1 combo cards to actually just 4. And then of course our 4 regular super combos, when I find them. I think I just passed them. Here they are. Yeah, and so our 4 regular super combos are in the deck. I'm still thinking that this is a superior card, as opposed to the one that has sparking, only because you never know when you're going to actually just not have sparking. And this deck is kind of meh. Like, it can play Dimension Magic without sparking 5, but it can't play super combos without sparking 5. So I've got to just run the super combo that doesn't have sparking 5, because I won't always have 5 cards in my drop. That's just how the deck is designed. I feel like I'm fine with that, actually. It's not a superior super combo by any stretch of the imagination. Both of them, I think, are good situationally speaking. So North Kai is actually decent, is what I'm trying to say. I think it's better than Boost Attack Piccolo, etc., because of just the way that it's printed. There's just so many things you can do. Well, it's just so many things that you could do with that card. Okay. So, to add to this deck, we've decided to kind of tweak the negates, right? That was the goal. We wanted to get rid of full power energy, so the 4 Whis Coercions had to stay. The 4 Dimension Magics also had to stay, right? But we had to do something with the full powers and keep the balance of the deck the same. So I looked up, in addition to these Mafubas, we always had the 2 Mafubas in the deck. That's just something to be noted. I think we changed that in version 2. But yeah, the Mafubas are still in, there's the 2 of. But yeah, we added Spirit Sword to the deck. That was our answer to not having full power energy, was to add Spirit Sword to the deck. You're going to play more of a blue package, less of a green package. You have a blue leader. That's all this card needs. It's a set 6 negate. I overlooked this card, I really did, but I think this card is actually a really good negate. It's just another Whis Coercion. It's another Dimension Magic. Those are the cards that you need to get to turn 6 to actually have your ultimate play. Like, that's what you need in your deck, is the negates. So we went up to 12 total negates in the deck, and I think before we were rocking 11 or 12. I think it just changed from version to version, but it's always been around 12 negates, so we want to stay around that number, and we are at 12 negates right now in the deck. 12 explosive negates. These negates are so explosive. There's so many tricks you could do with Whis' Coercion, untapping other colors of energy that you might need for a different play. In this case, not so much because we went more mono blue. Also, we have the Dimension Magic, being able to just pull life cards and then have more negates and more untapped potential, which gives you the combo cards for the 10Ks for 1 energy. You need an energy to do that. Well, Dimension Magic can set you up for that energy. So you just have ways to kind of just play the rest of your deck real easily with these negates, with this negate package. You're getting rid of their threat with Mafuba. You are just nuking their threat with Mafuba. The leader is basically saying, I'm going to untap 2 anyway. Read this. When this card attacks, draw 1 card. Fun fact, I always forget that part. Draw 1 card, and then choose up to 2 energy, blue energy, 2 blue energy, and switch them to active mode. So we went more streamlined with the blue. We have less green energy charged. We have less red energy charged, but we can functionally still play the deck that way. And now, okay, we're untapping those blue energy. That blue energy is going to be the Mafuba play, guys. It's just going to happen. It's going to be the out combo power, because we just simply have these cards in hand that have more combo power than my opponent. And I have the energy open because leader, because reasons, okay? So that is what we're doing. That is our core package that's really going to get us to, basically, what you see here is just going to get you to turn 6 and also be awakened, because we have these awakening talent pans in the deck. So these cards alone are enough to actually really play this deck. These cards alone can pretty much win. But we actually have another package added to this deck that actually wins even harder. Okay, so let's actually just dip into that, dip right into it, and then I'll wrap it up with the remaining cards. So we have been running 4 Janembas in the deck. Very seriously overpowered card. If it's warped, when you reanimate it, it's even stronger. So that's just a fun fact that you definitely want to have a way to warp this card. So what I like to do is play it early game, warp it, and then on turn 6, play it from the warp, because I'm able to do that on turn 6. Fun fact, that's what my turn 6 play is. So the more Janembas I have in the warp on turn 6, the better. So we run all 4 Janembas, and we are just power grinding through this match with these 4 Janembas. Definitely a really overpowered card. Other overpowered choices that I have. This is Vegeta for all intents and purposes. It's our red Vegeta. It says activate main for 2, KO a card. It's also our Lord Slug, because when I activate main for 2, I don't have to KO anything. I can choose up to 1, so I can choose 0. And then after that, I still make you drop a card from hand. So it's Lord Slug. So Android 13 is whatever you need him to be. And he's also got critical, so he might as well also be Janemba. So if you're not running all 4 of these in your deck, you're insane. Because this is basically Janemba 5 through 8. This is Lord Slug 5 through 8. This is Vegeta 5 through 8. Like, this is what this card does. This card has a lot of tech. And he's a threat, so people are focusing him. If they're focusing him, they're allowing you to get to turn 6. That's basically how this deck is played. So, lots of tricks, lots of potential. Lord Slug, speaking of, Sluggy Boi! This deck is so strong because it has the 4 Lord Slugs. Do not underestimate Lord Slug. Lord Slug will wreck your shit. He will wreck your shit. He doesn't care what you do. He will wreck your shit. And there's really not much you can do about it, alright? There's just, you're going to overextend trying to deal with him before you realize that you wasted way too much power dealing with him, and you just cost yourself the game. Lord Slug is going to smash a lot of matchups. He has already gotten a lot of W's, and so he's going to continue getting W's. And so if you play Agents of Destruction at all, you play 4 Lord Slugs, I don't give a fuck what color you're playing. This is like the best Agent of Destruction in the entire set. The best. The single best Agent of Destruction is Lord Slug, hands down. I've tested all of them. Lord Slug has the most consistent win rate. It's that simple. It's that fucking simple, guys, okay? So, adding more Agents of Destruction to the deck. I noticed that I was always running 12 Agents of Destruction, and I always thought that that was a seriously high number, and I didn't need to run it any more than that. Well, I corrected myself. I stand corrected. After going through a literal gauntlet of different decks, I discovered that my deck consistently had one weakness to a lot of other decks in the metagame, and that was that it did not have creature destruction on turn 2 and on turn 3. It just didn't. It didn't have that potential. And so now I've added that to the deck. The deck basically says more Vegetas for the early game, and I'm gonna KO stuff. When you play this Vegeta Agent of Destruction, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with 25,000 power or less. That's literally everything in the game on turn 2 and on turn 3, hands down every time, and then KO it. It's gone. Get rid of it. If it has barrier, great. They're probably not even swinging it, so it doesn't matter if it's there. But if it doesn't have barrier and it's in play and it's the opponent's answer to your tempo swings because you're going turn Lord Slug sideways, give you a life card, turn Lord Slug sideways, give you another life card. Okay, so your tempo play to counter that is swing your dudes at my guy. And so I say, you know what, you've got dudes. I'm going to kill them. Every single time I didn't have an answer to their counterplay. When I'm filling up their hand with Lord Slug, my weakness is that I'm filling up their hand with Lord Slug. Okay, so I can't really do anything about them getting life cards when I swing Lord Slug. The aggro is great, it can win a lot of games, but the aggro's also got a downside because it doesn't actually crit drop cards. So they do have a return swing. So you need the tempo play. You need an answer to their answer to your Lord Slug pressure. That's what you need. And the answer, hands down, is this Vegeta. This Vegeta is going to say, oh, they played a guy and they're trying to get through on some damage to gain control of the battle area? Well, I'm going to stop that right dead in its tracks with Vegeta, Agent of Destruction, for 2 of any color I want because I run the 4 Bobbities. Let me just break them out because I should have shown them a long time ago. This is our core 1-drop play. Every single time you play this Bobbity, or you might as well just scoop. If you don't have this Bobbity out on turns 1, 2, or 3, you're not really playing this deck right. You're not. If you don't have this in your opening hand, you mulligan. I don't care what the hand looks like. I don't care how great it is. If your hand is literally like all 3 of your Awakening Talent Pans and like some negates, I don't care. You mulligan that shit, okay? You keep 1 blue negate, preferably a Dimension Magic, to charge because it's notably the weakest early game negate in this entire deck. And then you charge that, and then you play the Bobbity. You mulligan for this Bobbity. So that's just something I can't stress enough. You need the turn 1 Bobbity. You have to have it. It's got to be there, or all of these juicy turn 2 plays, I'm highlighting all of them like they're all going to fucking wreck everything all the time. All you have to do is have the turn 1 Bobbity, and you have these juicy turn 2 plays. Juicy turn 2 plays. Now, eventually they're going to kill the Bobbity. But by then it's too late because you already have the energy available to just cast this stuff. Not a problem. There's your double red. There's your double green. You don't really have a problem charging to actually play these manual Agents of Destruction. But you don't even need to because you're just going to draw into another Bobbity first off, and that's just going to make your entire turn so much cleaner. But in addition to that, like if they're in the drop, if they're all in the drop, that's fine because eventually guess what you get to do? You get to run the ultimate out there. And the ultimate card is basically like, hey, you have Agents of Destruction in your drop or your warp area? Oh, that's great. You have a Bobbity in your drop or your warp area? Fantastic. Let's make this turn 6 play happen. This turn 6 play is going to smash. It's basically like, I don't care where all these Agents of Destruction are. I don't care where these Bobbities are. Oh, they're warped? Not a problem. Oh, they're dropped? Not a problem. That's perfect. That's what I want. Okay, so activate main for 6. I'm going to choose an Evil Wizard Bobbity card from my drop or my warp area. And then I'm going to actually take that card, that Evil Wizard Bobbity card, this one, and I'm going to play it. I'm just going to play it. It says, play it. Play the chosen card. And then, play this card on top of the card you just played with this skill. Okay? So you're playing the card from your hand on top of the card you just played with this activate main for 6, which was the Bobbity. Oh, that's great. Okay. Alrighty then. So there's a Bobbity underneath the Arcane Absorption. Okay, let's continue reading. Auto, when you play this card, if there is an Evil Wizard Bobbity card under this card, choose up to 5 Agents of Destruction cards from your drop area or warp and play them. Okay, you have a lot of choices, so they're going to be dropped or warped. It will not matter, and you're going to be able to play them, and they're just going to smash. Now, answers for that include probably only really just Crusher Ball and Cold Bloodlust, but the newest tech that answers Arcane Absorption hands down every time is PS, which stands for, I just keep calling it PS, so now I actually legitimately forgot. But it's a green negate for 2, and I just call it PS, and it was on the tip of my tongue. So give me just a minute while I actually look that shit up. and I'll tell you what it is. God damn it, I'm gonna just kick myself when I actually get to it. And I just can't fucking remember what it's called. Okay, it's green, and it costs 2. Okay. And it starts with a P. Preemptive strike! Okay. Let me check the channel really quick. Okay, so I can't actually pull up the preemptive strike at the moment, but actually, if you bear with me, I will pull that up, and I'll show you the card that literally just... I just found it, and I forgot what it was called, but I already have an answer to it now, so I literally don't care anymore about that card. So, let me pull that up really quick, and we'll continue with the video. P.S. Okay, Octagon Deck Builder, that's perfect. Perfect. Okay, so this is the card, Preemptive Strike. Let's read this card. It says if your leader card is green, so this is only an issue in green decks, but you know, Crusher Ball, Cold Bloodlust, and yellow decks, and also Broly decks, of course, and Chi-Lai decks are also Frieza's Army. So those aside, if they're playing green and it's not Frieza's Army, you don't have to worry about the yellow cards that fuck over your Arcane Boo, but you do have to worry about this one. This card will wreck your shit. Preemptive Strike, counterplay if your leader card is green, and the battle card your opponent is playing has an energy cost of 4 or less. It is placed in its owner's drop area instead of being played. I literally thought I would have to splash yellow for Battering Laser to get around this card, but you can simply get around this card with the next card that I'll show you. It's quite easy to get around this card, actually. It's just this very simple addition that already kind of works with this deck. Very simple addition to this deck, and it works perfectly with the deck. Even if there is no preemptive strike against you, you can still play this, and it is still explosive for a lot of reasons. Minus Killy Zone. What's that? Preemptive Strike is a counterplay card? Well, you can't cast it now, and it's 0 to do this. I'm gonna say tap 0, exile, warp my fucking cards to play this, to draw 1, and shut down your preemptive strike play. For good! It's gone! It's fucking gone! So I only need 1 of these on my Arcane Boo turn, so I only play 1 of them in the main deck. I would side more copies of minus Killy Zone against green leaders, because they're definitely going to have preemptive strike, or they're going to board it in against me once they see the Arcane Boo. So that needs to be noted. Minus Killy Zone by itself shits on Crusher Ball, Cold Bloodlust, and also Preemptive Strike. And Preemptive Strike will straight up beat you every time. There's nothing you can do about it. Trust me, it was such an ass whooping that I had to endure against green leaders in the last 48 hours. I could not even post the video footage. That's how much of an ass whooping I received, and so the answer to that, hands down, is minus Killy Zone. Thank you, Bandai, for printing a decent card. Thank you. About time. About time. So this is a set 4 card, but it was really spicy in set 4, and then it was just kind of forgotten about in set 5 and also in set 6, but it's making a comeback now, because this is a really good reason to actually play minus Killy Zone. Preemptive Strike kills Arcane Boo. If you play Arcane Boo and you get a green opponent, then you're just not winning unless you have minus Killy Zone. You're just not, where you play Battering Laser. So, there's my answer. Fantastic answer, and I haven't actually played the matchup yet with the 1 minus Killy Zone in my deck, but I would suspect all I really have to do is draw into it and then play the Arcane Boo afterward, and their Preemptive Strike just doesn't do anything. It won't do anything. They have no answer to minus Killy Zone, period. So, like, I'm not really even worried about Preemptive Strike, and that's another reason, like I said, why I pretty much just forgot the card's name, and I knew what it did, but I just forgot the name because I stopped caring once I added minus Killy Zone. So this is definitely a 1 out of 50 in your deck, at least, minus Killy Zone is. You don't want to play 0. You can't. You cannot get away with playing 0 because Preemptive Strike is a thing. Okay, now, other win conditions in the deck are these at all cost Vegetas. I have been toying between anywhere from 0 to 4 copies. I've playtested 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4 copies, and I still think 2 is right because there's just so much tech you have on turn 4 and 5 where you can just basically untap all of your energy and play the second one and then activate both of them and then have 2 triple strikers. Like, there's no reason not to play 2. Plus, it's combo for 5,000, and plus it's also a blue charge. Like, there's no reason to play only 1. So every time I bring bring my deck size down to 1 at all cost Vegeta, I immediately just taught myself out of it and bring it back up to 2 at all cost Vegeta. It's just too strong. That is your really good turn 4 and turn 5 play. Your best turn 4 and turn 5 play is the Janemba, Agent of Destruction, because this is an Agent of Destruction deck, but your next best choice is at all cost Vegeta. That will get you to the turn 6 in the event that all of this other shit doesn't get you to the turn 6. Okay, and to round out the deck, just, you know, the fun stuff. The fun stuff, you gotta have the Senzu Beans. You're playing blue. What are you doing if you're not playing Senzu Bean as a 4 of? What are you doing? You should have 4 Senzu Beans. There's no reason not to. There's just no reason not to. This card's never bad. It's never bad. And with this leader, and specifically this leader that always has an energy open because of his auto effect, you can't not run 4 Senzu Bean. You just can't. You have to run 4 Senzu Beans when you play the Soul Striker. So that's just has to happen. And then the last card in the deck is one of Furthering Destruction Champa. I squeezed this card in, and I haven't really playtested with it yet, but there has been countless games that I played throughout the gauntlet where I tried all of these matchups, and I had the game, the opponent was at 2, and I was like, you know what? Swing my Awakening Talent Pan for single strike. Fuck! Every time! Every time! So how do I actually get around it? Well, double strike it. Double strike it. So that is my alternate win con in the event that the opponent somehow decides, oh, okay, here's a perfect example of why this is such a good play. Okay, so I'm on turn 5, and I play the at all cost Vegeta, and the opponent is at 2. Okay, he's at 2. He's at 2. He's within lethal range of the at all cost Vegeta. I also only run the 1 FD Champa, so I haven't charged an FD Champa at all. I just haven't charged one. So he doesn't even know that I have it, unless he has some way to look at my hand, so he's playing like forcing hit or whatever. Then he has no idea about the FD Champa. So he sees the triple strike play, so he holds the negate for that card, or the Mafuba for that card, or some answer to this card. Okay, so you've already KO'd something, you've activated this, you've given it the triple strike and the 15,000 power boost. That's what it would be on turn 5, with the 5 energy out. So you've activated it, so the opponent knows that he has to answer your triple strike. Okay, but you also untapped an energy when you casted it, so you have at least 1 to 2 energy open at this point. Well, you use that 1 energy to play the Awakening Talent Pan. You just do that, and then you swing the pan in. You're at 2, you go to 1. You instantly just auto-grab that life card, go to 1, and swing this at them. They're holding the negate for the at all cost Vegeta, and they're at 2 life. And you have a full hand. So they say, okay, I can get over this. I'm not going to negate the pan. I know that he's trying to bully out my negate so he can deal lethal damage with Vegeta. So they are tunnel vision at this point, thinking that's the plan. Bully the negate to get the triple strike headshot, and if you can outplay that, you win. Well, no. Next level, 2000 IQ here. Dude, this is happening, okay? Pan is going to swing, and they're going to say no negate with a negate in their hand. And then you're going to say, okay, tap out, double strike, and more 10k pumps. Like, that's just going to happen. Senzu Bean, Senzu Bean, Senzu Bean, 10k, 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 double strike. Double strike. In your face. In your face. You're going to get domed by this pan. You're also going to get domed by this Babidi. They can both kill you if I just have enough 10k double strike pressure. They can both kill you while you're at 2. And it can be very easily done with just 2 energy. I don't even need the Vegeta. I could, in fact, just combo the Vegeta away just to spite you, knowing that you actually held the negate for the Vegeta. Maybe I just combo the Vegeta away. Maybe you're just like, you didn't negate? Oh, well, you're not playing Shugash Explosive Coup? Oh, okay, combo away the Vegeta, I guess, and everything else. Okay, 100,000 damage, double strike, or whatever it happens to be, and they're like, well, fuck, GG. And they'll just be so triggered, and that'll be so glorious. So anyway, this is version 5 of my Starterku, my set 6 Starterku. There are some really good new cards being spoiled that I would add to this that are actually hybrid color, which I think is extremely busted. I would really like to know how it works when I charge a blue-yellow card. Because if I charge a blue-yellow card and I can tap it for blue or for yellow, whew, And I think that's how it works. That will be so strong. That is going to change up this game forever when they do that. It's going to make things like this so much easier to play. It's going to make my ability to actually either play a green guy or a blue guy much easier when I have the choice to actually tap one or the other. So that is going to be extremely powerful, and there's going to be so many tricks that you can do with that dual color energy that they're releasing, because all of those dual color cards, correct me if I'm wrong, should be able to be charged, come into play tapped, just like Magic, pretty much, and then when they untap, you can tap them for either of their colors. And that is busted. It's always been strong in Magic. It sets you back a turn, but the next turn is way too explosive. And so in this metagame and moving forward, they're not really letting blitz decks be a thing. So setting yourself back a turn to have dual color energy is gonna be so fucking strong. It's gonna just... everyone's going to be doing it. Everyone's going to be playing those cards. So I'm really curious to see how, what they come out with and all this. And I hope that they don't do something stupid like make any of them a 0 plus 5,000 combo power. Because you want to punish the opponent. Well, you want to punish every player that plays these dual color cards as much as humanly possible to make the card balanced and fair. And the best way to punish them is to make sure that it's a dead card in hand when they're tapped out. Hands down. And they have to play it tapped, so they'll be tapped out when they play it. And if they play enough of them, well, they're going to flood their hand with 1 plus 10Ks, and that's going to cost them the game in more games than they would imagine. And that is balanced and fair. I hope that's what they do. I really don't want to see any 0 plus 5,000s. If they do that, it's going to just be way too strong. Pick up any 0 plus 5,000 dual color battle cards that you can find, because them shits are going to be so strong. So strong. Anyway, that's it for this video. Hope you guys like the tech on my set 6 version 5 Starterku Sluggy Boi, and I will see you in my next video. Peace out.